Hello, everybody. I'm Kristen.
And I'm Rachel.
And this is So I'm Watching Gilmore Girls, Season 2, Episode 14. It should have been Lorelai. Initial thoughts.
I feel very
it is a really weird, bracing ending. And you also were very concerned that Sherry might be a family annihilator the whole time.
No, I felt like she wanted to suck Rory's youth out of her body.
She's a little weird.
She went way too ham.
Yeah.
And I am just kind of like, ugh. It was so much.
All right, so we'll start small. Even though Mrs. Kim seemed to feel okay about the whole thing last week, Lane is super grounded to the point where she has somehow convinced the school that Lane can be homeschooled for 2 weeks, and she's only allowed to call the Psalm a day, hotline or whatever. But there's a new Belle and Sebastian single out, and so she has to have it. And so Rory orchestrates this whole way how to drop it for Lane so she can have it when it's out. And I did mention out there, I love that Lane is just rear windowing this whole episode. Yeah. She just keeps calling Rory at payphones and stuff as she's walking down the street. It's very silly. And then the other thing that's going on is Rory's doing the debate.
Yeah.
At school with Paris.
That feels so long
ago. So long ago. All of this Sherry stuff is so fucking weird. And there's 2 huge fights. Are basically 2 people screaming their own insecurities at Lorelai, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Because okay, we'll get there. I have a lot to say about the Christopher and Lorelai scene.
Okay.
Because it's very frustrating to me. But basically, so Christopher comes to Rory's debate. Brad is back. He is still terrified of Paris. He basically wets himself, and Rory and Paris win the debate.
The other girl cried.
Yeah. They're pro-assisted suicide too, and Brad was like, shocker. It's just, I think ethically, pro-assisted suicide is the correct.
I agree.
Yeah. But regardless, it's just very funny. Paris is also so intense about it. She comes over, she starts getting on Rory about dairy because it slows down your words per minute and all kinds of stuff. And actually, one thing that I did really love is that she got super butthurt when Rory had plans, and she was like, fine, if you don't want to celebrate with me, then whatever. And she just leaves. And it's obviously the wrong reaction, but she was so pumped and she wanted to hang out with Rory. And it's such a nice change of pace from what we've been used to. So I really liked that. And so basically Christopher comes to the debate, but he brings Sherry, and he didn't mention that he was going to bring Sherry. And I don't necessarily think that it was calculated on his part to not mention it.
I don't think it was.
He's too dumb to not. He's too much of a golden retriever to have done that on purpose.
Yep.
But it did kind of throw Lorelai, and Suki was also being super spying kind of.
Oh yeah.
Where she was like,
I would do the same thing.
Very funny. It is Mädchen Amick, who we love.
Fantastic.
She she still looks fantastic, but this is 22 years ago.
Wow.
So she's very young and thin, and she has such shiny hair, and she's just amazing. Also, one thing that kind of annoys me is they're her and Suki are she's doing that whole no pantyhose thing, and I was like, Lorelai doesn't wear pantyhose most of the time when she wears skirts and dresses.
I feel like she's got hose on.
Well, I feel she has worn hose, but a lot of the time,
it's
she's
I hate
not.
to break it to you guys, in 2 more years, they are gone completely.
No hose. No,
no hose anywhere.
Fashion tights only.
Yeah.
Yeah. I used to have to wear pantyhose every time we did something fancy, and it was the worst. I hate wearing pantyhose.
Yeah. I hated wearing pantyhose because they didn't last. Dancing and stuff, I had dance tights, so it was whatever to wear them. But you look at them hard enough and they rip.
Oh yeah.
I'm this is just so useless. I'm I'll just wear my freaking dance tights.
Well, sure. But that's why I like fashion tights, with a pattern or something on them. I think that's fun. But just pantyhose, just nude pantyhose, no. Yeah. Okay, one thing though that I do that I would love if it made a comeback is short skirt, sheer black hose.
That's literally a thing right now.
No, I know, but that's That's the only one I want to come back. Like, I don't want us to start wearing nude hose again.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Sheer black tights are nothing.
Sheer black is like...
No, that's really the only way that I like to wear short skirts.
Yeah.
Really I don't like my legs.
There's just something about it that feels... Maybe I saw some movie when I was, like...
Literally all of
kid.
the 90s?
Yeah. But it has to have been, like, one... Like, I think it's really sexy, so there has to have been, like, one sexy movie that I saw.
Like, The Craft? Like...
No, that's not a sexy movie.
I mean, it is if you try hard enough.
Well, I mean... I feel like for how much I feel about black hose, I feel like it has to have been something sexier. I have to have not been trying and prior to The Craft too.
No, I don't know. I just feel like everything
like Pretty
in the
Woman,
90s.
like when she's wearing the black dress and they meet in the bar and then they go out and she has the escargot. I feel like she's wearing hose with that black dress.
Maybe, probably.
It's good. It's a good time.
Yeah.
Regardless. Where even was I? Oh, the no hose thing. So, okay. So, Sherry's there. She really, really wants to get to know Rory. She's super excited. She's very intense about it. She does come across... She also gets weirder. The, like, more... No, like, she's on more episodes. Like, we have Sherry for a little while. Not consecutively, but, like, Sherry pops in and out for a while. Yeah.
She looks like she would have kidnapped Rory.
Yeah.
It's too much.
So... They invite Christopher and Sherry back to their place, and she has such a weird, bummer, awkward conversation with Lorelai, where she's like, we really don't need to get to know each other.
Which is, like, that's rich if you want to spend time with my literal
daughter.
Kid.
Yeah.
Like, what makes you think that we can't have a relationship if you were going to take my daughter somewhere?
Because also it's like, I would just love for her to be like, well, she's Christopher's child too, and be like, Christopher has never had any kind of custody.
Yeah.
So, no.
Also, when she was going on and on about, like, how important Rory is to Christopher and that he is, like, so boosted for their, like, call dates, which is just one day a week, Wednesday at 7, sir, I don't know.
Also, only now.
Yeah.
Like, within the last year,
and
only.
I don't know, being a child of divorce, wherever I was staying, I talked to the opposite parent every night before bed.
Yeah.
And I mean, like, when we were at my mother's house with my dad, it was never really a long conversation, but literally, like, how was your day? Okay, good night. Like,
it's weird.
So, I don't...
It's super weird. Also, it's one of those things where it's like, I can appreciate that, you know, time is passing in this universe while we're not watching it. So, like, things are happening that we're not seeing. But also, like, we haven't seen a single one of these phone calls. And so for that to be, like, a whole thing is just sort of like, I guess.
Yeah.
If you say so, like, whatever. So Sherry is super weird. I sort of hate that conversation in the kitchen.
Yeah,
because I'm just
terrible.
Like, I'm like, also, why do you want to not be friends with your, like, serious boyfriend's the mother of his child?
And you could say, like, we don't need to be best friends, but I would like us to be friendly.
Yeah, for sure.
That's all you had to say?
No, it's crazy. You're gonna, depending on how far we get, you are going to shit at some of this, like, future stuff.
Great.
With Sherry.
My mom tried to fight Lisa.
Jesus Christ.
And
Lisa would win.
Oh, wipe the floor. That Lisa Grinder has punched men in the face.
Yeah.
And has flown over so many bars.
Look, I think I've only met Lisa, like, maybe 3 or 4 times. Like, I've spent very little time with your stepmom. But I would be so scared to get on her bad side.
Yeah, when my mom, like, threatened her, Lisa just went, are you sure? And then my mom was like, yeah, what are you going to do about it? She was like,
I will lay you out flat.
She really was. She was just like, you don't mean that.
Big
and my mom was like, yeah, I do. And Lisa was like, you really don't.
You really don't. So here's the thing, too, is, like, I'm very, like, spoiled for parental relationships. My parents were still married and in love with each other until my mom died. And then my husband's parents have been divorced since he was, like, 11. But they spend every holiday together. They are incredible. They are besties.
I ask Will all the time, what is it like to have well-adjusted parents?
I mean, it's not
like it is it's so fascinating.
So it's like I've never experienced a divorced couple like that before. Like
no.
like Ernie and Connie's second husband Wade are friends. They are friendly, they talk, they chat. Like I mean, they don't just like hang out, the two of them, really, but it's like I also don't think it would be weird if they were like met at the same place. We're like, hey, sit with me. So I'm very spoiled for stuff like that. So when I see something like this where it's like, I don't want to be friends with you, but I would like to be friends with your child. And if I'm Lorelai, I'm like, no.
Yeah, no, if I would have I would have rocked that lady. Right? Like I would just be like, you need to stop talking to me. Because in my house, in my kitchen, and you're gonna tell me you don't want to be friends with me, but you want to hang out with my daughter?
Super weird.
No, we're not. That's not gonna happen.
Because in this scenario, Lorelai is Lisa.
Yeah.
She would kill that dynamic.
Yeah.
Regardless, it's a whole thing. So basically she's like, I want to hang out with Rory if that's okay with you. And she's like, well, we do have Friday night dinner. I can sometimes get her out, but like, you have to check with Rory. Like, I can't like make her go, basically. I love the whole calling from the cell phone in the kitchen. And she's like, just, you know, if you want to go, then like say this thing. And it's like, sorry, Leonard. And she says it and she's like, oh, okay. And I love that Lorelai doesn't even pitch a fit. She's like, oh, cool. If you want to go, good. I just wanted to check with you so you're not blindsided. Because Emily does stuff like that a lot. Just like does stuff for Rory when she doesn't want to, you know, and she can't say no. It's one of those things. So they end up going out and Lorelai brings Christopher to Friday night dinner instead. They are both happy to see him. But when they find out Rory is not coming because she's out with Sherry, it becomes, well, Richard is totally fine.
Yeah.
But Emily, I don't like this because like, how long are you going to hold on to this for?
Yeah, I know. Because
Emily is so pissed because there's this other woman and like Christopher's gotten his life together, but it's not for Lorelai, it's for Sherry. And Lorelai's just like, well, our timing was never right. And didn't she say something like it's because you didn't push him right or something?
I don't know. I kind of went.
It's really, really weird where it's like, it's been, Rory is 17. So it's like, how 17, 18 years, how long are you going to be like, why didn't you marry him for?
Yeah.
It's just weird. They're very clearly not right for each other.
Yeah.
And again, the timing's never worked out. And like, now he has his life together. He can't just like come and live in Stars Hollow. He's traveling all the time for work. It's not going to be a satisfying relationship for Lorelai.
Yep.
And he's met someone. They've been together 8 months, according to this episode. That's a decently long-term relationship. So it's just very weird. And she's just all, it should have been you and like all of this stuff. And like, I just don't know how long you hang on to that kind of bitterness over something that clearly wasn't supposed to work out.
Right. And it's like, okay, if you feel this way, go talk to the man in there that wouldn't get his shit together for me.
Also, yes.
You know, I can only do so much. He is a grown human adult.
Yeah.
So
because on the other hand too, it smacks to me of of still like sort of dismissing Lorelai's accomplishments.
Yeah.
She has gotten her shit together too. She is very successful in her field.
Yeah.
She's getting a business degree. She's almost done with it. She is moving forward on opening her own inn with her friend. Like, she's like sort of at the top of her game as well.
Yeah.
In all of the ways she wants to be.
And so and as a person who has raised other people's husbands, you can push and push and push and push, and you can get them to where like the potential could be, and then they could go, okay, thanks for that, see you later, and then leave. So it's like, if they don't want to do it, they're not going to do it.
Well, and it's like it's sort of a like teach a man to fish kind of thing, where it's like, sure, Lorelai could have been like, Christopher, you need to do XYZ so we can get married and we can do this. And so he might have done it, but because he didn't choose to, and it wasn't his decision, and he was getting forced into it, it would not have lasted.
No.
He had to decide he wanted to do this.
100%.
So, like, I don't know. It's very annoying. And also the whole thing about, like, I totally disagree with what he says about, because she sort of calls him on it, like, why didn't you tell me Sherry was coming? And she's just like, and then she tells him about the conversation in the kitchen, the like, she doesn't want to be friends thing. He's like, well, if I recall, I didn't even know that you were engaged until, you know, you were at your bachelorette party. And I'm like, well, I also kind of think that's not the same because she is the custodial parent.
Yeah.
So it's like, it only matters to her and Rory who she introduces, but it also matters to her as well as Rory who he introduces.
Right.
Because again, she is the custodial parent. He has never lived in the same place as Rory, never her whole life.
Yep.
So he absolutely needs to be checking with Lorelai to be like, I'm bringing my girlfriend to this thing. Because it throws them both for a loop. And it's obviously played for comedy. But, like, in the real world, I think that would be an issue.
It's fucking weird.
It's so weird.
The first time you meet your parents' new partner, it's like... like, it's very, very awkward and weird. And then, especially, like, with the type of relationship that you have with your parent, you can be very aware of, like, how soon you are meeting this partner, because even then you're like, you're too new. Why am I meeting you? Like, this is weird. Why are you in my space?
Yeah.
It's very awkward.
Yeah.
I used to bully some of my mom's boyfriends because they were so stupid.
He and Arthur used to bully some of Ernie's girlfriends, and it was just not like they were kind of the ones he's told me about were like kind of dicks to them first, and so then they were just teenage boys back, like, I'm just like, you're coming in, you are the one who is coming into or bringing someone into an established family unit. You are the one that should be asking for permission.
The first time I met Brian, which is who my mom cheated on my dad with.
Imagine bringing that person around.
Bruh. And I was like, and I remember I refused to come out of my room the first time he came over. And because I was like, this is too soon. Something's up. And like, I didn't know about all the extramarital shit. But in my little 10-year-old brain, I was like, shit's not right.
Something's not right.
Something's weird.
He's gotta go.
And then he was like being too nice. And so then I just sat there. Like this. 10-year-old me who does not get up like that.
Kids can tell.
Like this. And then he tried to make us turn off the TV when like Jerry Springer was on or something like that. And we were like, no. And so he like walked over and turned the TV on or turned the TV off. And I was like, okay. And I got up and I literally in his eyes, like almost like face to face, like nose touching, and just reached over and turned the TV on. And I was like, this is my house.
Yeah.
And he was just like, he just kind of went,
whoop. That's the thing. First of all, I think I would have shit my pants if you did that to me. Second of all,
listen, when I get there, I get there.
Second of all, that's one thing that, because we talked about it in the Max episode when he was like trying to get Rory to like go to bed or whatever, and I'm just like, you are not allowed to come in and parent someone else's child.
Nope.
Not even a little bit.
Nope. Thanksgiving, he tried to put cranberry sauce on my plate. I got up and left and did not come back. I didn't come back for the rest of Thanksgiving. I got in trouble, but I was like, I'm not eating with this man.
Unacceptable.
Nope. He did not last.
No, I can't imagine.
Yeah, he didn't. Oh God, his kids were weird too.
Ridiculous. I just like, so I guess I don't, baby, you can cut this out if you want. I don't know how much of like my in-laws stuff I need to be putting on Maine, but like the literal first time that I went home with Will, it was for New Year's because I couldn't get off work for Christmas that year. And I literally, we arrived from the airport as Ernie's girlfriend was moving out.
Oh.
And I have hung out with her like 7 times since then. They're still friends. Like, it's just hilarious. I don't know how it happened. I don't speak to any of my exes.
No. They're either dead or dead to me.
It's crazy.
Yeah, no.
Crazy.
I have so much respect for people that can like be friendly, especially like when you're in a small town and you have to see those people all the time. But I just nope, you are done. Who are you? I don't know you. I never knew you. I don't want anything to do with you.
No.
You're an ex for a reason.
True.
Yeah. So thank God I didn't have any kids with that one because well,
you wouldn't have been able to move here.
No, I wouldn't have been able to do anything. Gross.
Yeah, yikes. Okay, so basically, the Rory's dinner with Sherry goes fine. the dinner at the Gilmore house particularly goes horrible, because Emily just, like, leaves and doesn't come back. The next day, Christopher and Sherry come to, like, say goodbye on their way out of town. Okay. This is where I start to have issues. So basically, Lorelai's been thinking about what her mom said, though, and she talks to Rory, and she's like, did you ever, like, wish that we were together? Like, how have you been really thinking about that? And she's like, I mean, not really, just in the way that, like, everybody whose parents aren't together kind of, you know, thinks about it, but, like, I never, like, wished for it. And so she's like, okay. And then she has this, well, they do the handoff for the CD with Lane. Super funny. Michelle has been running around the square for an hour, and Rory's like, why? The time got changed, and I guess Lorelai, like, didn't pass on the message or whatever. It's super funny. Anyway, so then Lorelai and Christopher, she basically tells him that she's always been kind of keeping him in the back of her mind. But, like, now that he is so happy and, like, settled with Sherry, she thinks that she can finally move past that.
Which I think is a very healthy naming of something that she realized about herself.
Yes, and also the way that she phrases it is she says, I think I was subconsciously sabotaging all of my relationships. And he takes that very personally.
Okay, I was so confused because I was afraid that I had missed something.
Nope.
And because I was like, wait, what?
He
what
gets
are we doing?
So angry.
So mad.
So angry.
And for what? Like,
I don't think he should be that angry because, like, on the one hand, I'm like, well, maybe, I mean, like, Lorelai, you didn't, like, really need to say that to him. Like, you could have had that revelation, like, with Suki or something. However, I also, like, she wasn't like, I've never had a successful relationship and it's your fault. Yeah. She was like, I feel I've been unconsciously sabotaging my relationships, just sort of thinking, but, like, being able to see you with her and how settled you are and how nice it is. I think I'm, like, I'm good. Like, I'm so happy. Like, she's happy for him. And she's like, I feel better. Like, you know, blah, blah, blah. And he fucking lays into her.
Yeah, he does.
Screaming in public in the diner.
Yeah.
In front of Luke. Yeah. Which is rude. And he's like, how dare you put that on me? And, like, this is not my problem. And, like, all this shit. And I'm just like, whoa.
Yeah.
Like, I think he's kind of projecting 100, back at himself.
100%. Because it's like, why does this trigger you so much? Why are you so angry?
Yeah.
And I don't know. And I think he maybe, like, hearing her say, like, okay, I'm done now. Like, I get it. Like,
yeah.
And I wonder if he's like, well, no, I want that. No, I need you to, like, still be, like,
be the backup. Yeah.
Low-key pining for me. So when I'm done doing this, like, I can come back to you.
I mean,
so weird.
Yeah. It's really, really weird. And, like, I've always thought it was weird, but I have sort of not flip-flopped, but I've always been a little bit on his team until this viewing. We're like, yeah, Lorelai, like, you didn't need to say that to him.
I think that's a perfectly fine thing to say.
But now I'm
especially
like,
with their relationship.
Now I'm like, no, that's totally, she's right and she should say it.
I think that it was a lovely closure thing to say to him.
And
because
he just, like, unloaded.
Yeah, because he should have been like, I'm actually really glad to hear that. Like,
and, like, I feel the same. I feel really settled with Sherry and, like,
And then even be like, I'm sorry it never worked for us, but, like, we have this kid that we get to share, like, forever, and we get to still be in each other's lives, but, like, I'm happy that you figured that out. That's all you needed to say.
It's really bizarre.
Very strange.
And also so rude to humiliate her in front of...
I can't believe Luke didn't come over and be like, you need to shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
Don't yell at my establishment.
Super weird. Super bizarre. And you just were like, that's an ending to an episode. Like, it's bizarre. It's really bizarre.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that is this episode. So, pretty good. Like, not a terrible one. I like a lot of the stuff. Like, the debate stuff with Paris is really, because we're like...
It still does just feel like 2 episodes
It does feel like 2 episodes, yeah.
This ending really kind of, like, melted my brain a little bit.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Super weird. But yeah, so that's it for this episode. Like and subscribe. Let us know what you think, and we will be back next week. Bye!